Hello, what's going on? Welcome to the What's on Tap show with me, George on Tap. As always, we're here talking about what's going on in the world of sports today, and we have had a jam-packed day in the worlds of sports. This is October, guys. We are in October. And October means we're going to have the equinox coming up here pretty soon where we have NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB action all on the same day. I think this year falls on the 28th or 29th of October. And it's going to be great. I love this time of year. We have so much to talk about usually in sports. Wednesdays are usually the slowest day of a week, and today is no different. Let's start off with story number one. Davante Adams has requested a trade outside of the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's interesting to see the odds are out on what teams he's interested in and what teams that people think he could actually go to. So let's actually talk about those teams. And I'll tell you where I think he ends up, which I think everyone kind of believes is where he might end up. The Jets are minus 150. The Saints plus 300, the Commanders plus 500, Steelers plus 1100, Cowboys plus 1800, Ravens plus 1800. Those are the actual teams I think actually have a chance to get them. So let's go one by one here and say what the fit would be. Well, Jets, obviously, him and Aaron Rodgers, a reunion in New York. Davante Adams is probably the best wide receiver Aaron Rodgers has ever had. When they played together, they were absolutely fantastic together. The Jets, the funny thing with these wide receivers is that you don't even have to give up that much to get them. The Jets will probably have to maybe give up Hassan Reddick, who still hasn't reported, and maybe a third-round pick. Or they can give him a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick for Davante Adams. And the reason is the salary cap and how much money you would actually have to have and keep and spend to keep Adams happy and on your team. But I just find it pretty crazy here to have him back on the with Aaron Rodgers, and I think it would be a great fit. Saints plus 300. I guess they weren't lying when he said him and Derek Carr had a good relationship. I know sometimes last year he looked frustrated with Carr, but I don't really see the fit here with the Saints. I think their offense is where it needs to be. Adding another receiver is not really their need. I actually think they need to add another like weapon, kind of like, I hate saying Taysom Hill, but as soon as Taysom Hill got hurt, they weren't very good. The Commanders plus 500. Yes, it makes sense because they were in the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes, and then adding him alongside of Terry McLaurin, and then you have Jaden Daniels throwing them the ball. I could see Davante Adams being really happy there. Steelers plus 1100. Simply not going to happen. The Steelers have been looking for a wide receiver, but I just don't think that this is the wide receiver that they want to spend money on. Cowboys plus 1800. Anytime there's a big name person available, the Cowboys are going to be sniffing around it. Reports are the Cowboys are not interested, though. Ravens plus 1800. This would be really interesting. You'd give Lamar Jackson the best weapon he's ever had. I would love to see him on the Ravens. I just don't know if the Ravens organization is the type that would give up a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick to go get Davante Adams. I'm going to say, though, the two places I could see him landing are the Jets minus 150 and the Ravens plus 1800. Jets, they are in win now mode, plain and simple. When you sign Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old, you're simply in win now mode, and that's where they are. The Ravens at plus 1800 would give Lamar Jackson his best weapon and a good chance to win the Super Bowl. But, the thing is here, a lot of people don't see the value in trading for wide receivers. And I used to be like that too, but we've seen wide receivers now become complete game changers in the NFL. Look at Malik Neighbors. He's turned Daniel Jones into a competent quarterback. DK Metcalf is killing it in Seattle. Nico Collins is such a big weapon for CJ Stroud. Maybe wide receivers are a little more valuable than they used to be, especially the new way they play football. We have a lot of intermediate and small throws. Offenses are heavily relying on wide receivers, and they're more than just a fancy sports car now. But I do think that Davante Adams at the end will end up either a New York Jet or Baltimore Raven. Story number two, I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Through 56 games now in his career, Trevor Lawrence is in Tim Couch territory. What do I mean by that? Well, through 56 games starting, Tim Couch, and I can't believe I didn't feel like Tim Couch started 56 games from the University of Kentucky to Cleveland Browns. 56 games, he was 21 and 35. And there was a couple of games where he showed flashes like Trevor Lawrence did, but he never really got it together. Trevor Lawrence is now 21 and 35, and there's only a handful of quarterbacks who made 56 starts as a number one overall pick that had worse records than him. Derek Carr, Jeff George. I'll have to find the rest of a list for you, but he's entering a territory and category I never thought I would see Trevor Lawrence in. I know these guys are generational talents that are supposed to be can't miss prospects. Don't always hit like perfectly. But Trevor Lawrence showed flashes, and that's the frustrating part. He showed flashes. He went to a playoff game and had I think the largest comeback at halftime in history of a playoff game. We've seen the throws. We've seen the ability. We've seen his throws. If anyone missed a throw like the one he missed to Christian Kirk, I don't know what they can do to fix Trevor Lawrence, but he needs absolute fixing. He's broken. It's like a car that can't start. It's an M6 with a broken engine and a bad transmission. Trevor Lawrence can make every throw on the football field, and Trevor Lawrence, I guess his biggest knock is what some people said coming out of college. He likes the game of football. He might not love it. And I'm still a believer in him because I saw what he did in Clemson. But maybe I'm a believer because of Clemson and not from what I've seen in the NFL. He's one of my favorite players, my favorite guys. All in all, everyone says he's just a totally good person too. So seeing him fail the way he's failed has been absolutely hard for me to swallow. But Trevor Lawrence has just not been good. The schedule now coming up gives them an opportunity to win 3 games in a row, and they have to take care of that opportunity. Trevor Lawrence needs to save his season. He's not at a point where he needs to save his career because he just signed a contract that's so big that the Jaguars really can't do anything other than just keep trotting him out there. He's not completely the problem with the franchise, but this is bad. I still believe somehow. I still believe. I'm holding on to hope with Trevor Lawrence that he can turn it around at some point. But right now, I just haven't seen it. What's on tap? Jayden Daniels. All right, I just want to quickly talk about Jayden Daniels here and how good the Washington Commanders have been. Jayden Daniels through 4 games has the highest completion percentage in NFL history. And that is what's absurd to me about Jayden Daniels. I thought I was going to see Jayden Daniels come into the NFL and make some highlight plays, miss some long throws. And there was a throw he made, I think it was it Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football? I forget. I think Thursday Night Football, where he missed Terry McLaurin for a touchdown. And that's the only missed throw I've ever seen Jayden Daniels make in the NFL. 82% completion percentage. And that's what is crazy about him to me. He has been more accurate than I expected. He's been more dynamic than I expected. I thought I'd see a guy more like an Anthony Richardson, but maybe a little bit better passer because Anthony Richardson was so raw, where he's completing 60% of his passes, 55, and making some huge plays. Instead, he's accurate. And in this NFL, accuracy is the most important thing a quarterback can be. The Washington Commanders have an absolute star. And this is one of the most insane stats I've ever seen for a rookie quarterback in my whole entire life. And not just a rookie quarterback, any quarterback. Jayden Daniels has 23 scoring drives he's led this year. He's had 19 incomplete passes. They've only had 4 punts on the season. It's absurd what he's doing. It's amazing what he's doing. And he is like literally showing himself to be an MVP candidate. It's unbelievable. MVP numbers through 4 weeks. He's on pace to put up better numbers than Lamar Jackson did in his second season when he won the MVP. And if you're a Washington Commander fan, I know you might have nightmares sometimes because you're like, oh my God, I saw this with RG3 when RG3 got hurt. Jaden Daniels seems like he avoids the big hits. I wouldn't be too completely worried about getting hurt. Of course, any player in the NFL can get hurt. But God, you got to just love this player. And I think his MVP odds are absurd. His MVP odds are at plus 3,000 on Caesar Sportsbook. Plus 3,000 for Jaden Daniels. How's that even make sense? There's no reason for him to be that low. I'm going to share my tab here. And if you use promo code ONTAP on Caesar Sportsbook, you'd get up to a $1,000 no sweat bet. You'll find it in the link in my description as well. But here we are on Caesar Sportsbook. Look at this. Regular season MVP, Patrick Mahomes plus 250. Josh Allen plus 280. Lamar Jackson, love Lamar, my favorite player in the league. There's no way he's winning another MVP award without getting to a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. CJ Stroud is at plus 1,300. Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy. You got to go all the way down. He has the same odds as Baker Mayfield. A little bit worse odds than Jared Goff. Now, Jaden Daniels, it's really hard for a rookie to win an MVP award in his first season. But my God, does this feel like a juicy bet? I want to see, obviously, the offensive rookie of the year, player of the year. Where is the offensive rookie of the year? He's a favorite at minus 140. Caleb Williams, who started off the season as a favorite, is at plus 700. Jaden Daniels is probably going to win the offensive rookie of the year. If he stays on this pace, it's going to be a lock. But Jaden Daniels plus 3,000 for regular season MVP to me is a steal of a bet. And I'm not saying he's going to win it, but God, I've seen crazier things happen in the NFL. All right, guys, thank you for watching. This has been the George on Tap, What's on Tap in Sports show. As always, make sure you use promo code ONTAP on the Caesar Sportsbook or the Rebet Sportsbook. If you're in a state that doesn't allow sports gambling, it's the best way to actually bet on sports. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.